We're going to go for it and we'll see.
Loving you is like flowing water, baby. You give me the strength through the fire, baby. I'm gonna be your.
All right. Let's see. Because I was trying to do this. I got to make sure that this is all set up and right and ready to go. I'm not really sure what the T was. YouTube is trying to play in my face right now. As usual. Everything is there. Everything is right. All right. What's popping, everybody? Get in here. Everybody get in here. Let's get into some things. All right. I want to make sure that we are live, child, because, when I tell you, this has just been an experience trying to move and get everything situated and set up. Eventually, we will have it fully together, but this is why I felt like it was very important and imperative for us to do this video this way, so that it can also help me check the quality of everything and then get what I need to get off. So if we are good in the chat, can I get a 1 in the chat? Okay. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you guys can see me and if you guys can hear me? Okay. Because, child, I need to get into a rant. I'm just trying to get everything organized so that the girls can see me and the girls can hear me. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys can all hear me and see me clearly before we get into the things that we got to get into. Okay. All right. Boom. Y'all can hear me. We are here. We are live streaming from a secret location. Okay. In LA. Now, so we're in 2022, and I told you guys we're going to be doing different stuff with the channel. Of course, we're going to still be talking about celebrities and things like that. Today, I just didn't feel like it. Maybe when I'm done with the live, I'll talk about it, but ain't nothing really been going on that was that interesting for me to really get into. And you know what? We're just now kind of getting back in the groove of things after the move and all of the stuff. So I thought today would be a great day to break the ice with the Storytime rant that I kind of wanted to do in regards to my personal life, if that is okay with you all. Okay. And so I just want to get into some things with my core. Now, I want you guys to understand, I have been really triggered over the last few days, and I have not really figured out how to get it out and what way to go about it. Because the old me usually will call a person up and let them know, listen, you tried it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the 2022 me is still the same me, but I'm trying to do things in a different way. So I'm going to tell you guys the story of a friend that I have, and I don't know if we're friends anymore. But you let me know what you guys think after the end of the video, okay? And this is why the title of this video is "Don't Make Me Slap You, Ho," because I feel that way in my spirit. Okay? So let me tell you, sit down, grab a cup, put me on your TV, roll your blunt, put me on your radio. Put your headphones in if you at work, because I'm finna give you guys this tea. All right, let me sip my water real quick. So we can get into it. Never mind the sirens. Never mind the sirens in the background if you can hear them. We're in the hood. Okay, no, seriously. Okay, so boom. Let me give you guys the tea real quick. So I have this friend. So there's a group of us. We're all friends, all right? We were all friends or associates, Hold on. Let's just let the sirens go by. Okay. So we were all friends and associates to a certain degree. I'm trying to figure out how I really want to get into this story and really start it off, really kick this thing off, because I'm really trying to be nice with it, but I'm really going to get nasty with it. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, boom. My man has 2 friends, and I have a couple of friends, and we're all mutual friends amongst each other. So everybody's kind of friends. All right. And so this friend that I have, they are on the side. I don't really know what they do. I don't really understand like what their purpose is. I don't really feel like they understand really what their purpose is. To me, they're quite lazy. And I've tried to help this person do a lot of different things, you know what I mean? And they seem to be overwhelmed by a lot of things in life, you know what I mean? And, I try to help them out the best that I could. I try to encourage, you know what I mean? I try to uplift. I try to inspire. I try to do a lot of these things to encourage the people that are around me. And a lot of times it feels like it gets taken for granted, or people are just set in their ways and people just want to be messy. Okay, so fast forward, this same friend, mind you, I've tried to teach this person how to drive. I've tried to, give this person a job, like a lot of things like I've tried to do to help this person out. Okay, when this person didn't even have food, okay, I went and drove 50 minutes away from my house to go pick them up, to bring them to my house and feed them. Like, I literally tried to be the best person that I could be, understanding that, me, I am imperfect as we all are. But, I try to still be loyal to my friends and, and encourage my friends and let my friends know that, if I make it, you make it, we make it, and let's make it together. Like, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna uplift you, you uplift me. You feel me? We're gonna be on that type of energy. That's my whole thing. That's how I move with the people that I care for. Okay? So boom. So this guy, he seems very, very stuck in his ways. He doesn't really like to go out of boundaries that are the normal. Okay? So I'm like, all right, that's fine. You do you. And I'm still going to do me. Okay. Now, for a while, me and this friend, we've been friends for a very long time. Back in 2018, we stopped talking for about 2 years. So we came back in contact. We started talking again. People used to tell me that this person was very, 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 very messy, and not to associate with this person. But I'm just like, you know what? No, this is my friend. And, I've never really seen a messy tendency towards me. So I'm not going to I'm not going to take your word for it. Even though, this person doesn't really even go outside because they've been getting beat up, you know what I mean? Because they've been messy, or they've been talking about people, or they've been trying to sleep with people's man, or they've been doing messy shit behind the scenes. You know what I mean? But I said, you know what? This person hasn't been messy towards me. Not that I've noticed, right? You know what I mean? And then 2, I always kept them slightly at bay. You know what I mean? Like, I let them know certain information about me, but then like there was other times where I just felt like, I wouldn't let them all the way in, you know what I mean? Into my personal life, into my personal business. But then at some point, when you're friends for a while, you start to let people in. Okay. So boom. I'm trying to bridge the gap. Okay. So my man has 2 friends, right? And they're really close friends. So it's my man, then he has 2 friends that are really close friends. And there was an incident that happened between my man and one of his, well, it was really my fault, but it was like my man and one of his friends. Okay, so basically, long story short, there was a Valentine's Day situation that kind of happened where, my man obviously is in a relationship, and then my man's friend, I'm gonna just say G. G and B, okay? So I got my man, and we got G, and we got B. This is a lot of moving parts to the story, okay? So G and my man are really, really close, okay? G and B are really, really close. My man and B are cool too. I know B and I know G, okay? Now, and my friend Messy, we're going to call him M for Messy, he knows all of us. Y'all following me? Okay, so on Valentine's Day of last year, G was posting pictures of B and his man. And G didn't post pictures of my man and me. So my man was like, well, if you're my friend, why you didn't post me and my man too? Like, you posted our other friend and his man, but you not posting me and my man. Like, what's that about? So my man kind of felt some type of way about it, right? Okay, boom. Now, I ended up going out to a bar. My man went to work, and I ended up seeing G, and I was with my friend M, Messy, at the bar. So it was me, G, Messy, and my best friend Tristan, okay? So we're all at the bar. I get a little drunk, okay? And so I go up to G, and I'm just like, why you didn't post us? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, just when you're friends with B, you don't have to not be friends with my man. You know what I mean? I was feeling some type of way because I'm like, that was just weird. If y'all all supposed to be friends, like, don't do like I'm only friends with this one over today. So when I'm friends over here, I can't be friends with you over here, right? And my friend M, Messy, is sitting here listening to it all, okay? So basically, I was drunk. I went up to my man's friend and kind of was like, why you didn't post it? My man was salty that you didn't post it. Like, I kind of got to his defense, right? And so G kind of got upset, and he blocked me. He blocked my man. He blocked us all because I kind of pulled up on him, right? So boom. So G lives in the Bay where I was at, all right? So B and G are friends. So it gets back. But now me and B, that's my man's other friend, we have a estranged relationship because there was just times where I felt like he wasn't really the truest friend to my man. Like, I just felt like he would always move a little weird. And I felt like there was times that he was really, really selfish at times when it comes to being a good friend. Like, we would have that one time that they had us throw this whole party, and it was supposed to be G and B's party. G ended up coming to the party. B didn't even come to the party. So I ended up having to pick up B slack that they were supposed to be throwing a party for my man. And then we found out later that night that B was at the club. So I just felt like, okay, that was weird. But my friend M, Messy, was always there. And M is my friend, okay? And so I would kind of vent to him and talk to him about that. And I would be like, that's weird. Like, why would B be doing that to my man if they're supposed to be friends, right? So M is like, now I don't know this until now, but during this time, M was always there for all the conversations, okay? But I want to give you guys the backstory of what happened, okay? Boom. So fast forward to now. G blocked all of us except M. Okay. B doesn't really talk to my man. Okay. Doesn't really talk to me. We don't have a relationship. We don't follow each other on Instagram. We don't do anything. But B and M talk all the time. So M is in the middle of everything. M talks to me all the time. M talks to G all the time. M talks to B all the time. But none of us are talking, but M is in the middle talking to everybody. Okay? I want you guys to understand. M is in the middle talking to everybody. So boom. So that's happening. Now this is happening over a significant amount of time. So boom. G and B, they're doing their thing. Me and my man, we're doing our thing. We're not, my man, they're not really talking. We're not talking. But we're still very cool with M. Okay? So boom. Fast forward to now. We hanging real tough with M. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really kicking it with M. Like, we hanging really, 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 really tough. They're coming to my house. You know what I mean? We're chilling all the time. We're spending the night. I mean, he's spending the night at my house. If he don't have food, I go pick the nigga up. You know what I mean? Feed him or whatever. Try to give him jobs. I literally was telling this man I was going to pay him $50 to write send an email for me. For each email he sent out for me to maybe book guest or, just kind of help me be a team member, send emails to just different artists or whatever. I was going to pay him $50 per email. You didn't even have to land it, just set the conversation up because he was a very good writer. So I said, okay, listen, I'm going to give you $50 per email that you write. You know what I mean? So you can make an income. I just don't want to give you money. You know what I mean? But so you can make an income. You know, he would just do dumb shit. It would overwhelm him, whatever. He would still be my friend. You know what I mean? Cool. So boom. Fast forward, we all go out of town. Me, my best friend Tristan, and it's just a lot of us. We're all hanging out, okay? We're keying, we're drinking, we're having a good time. We're having a party, okay? We're having a party. Well, before that, there was an incident where M was with us. It was me and my man. I think it was the day that I went and picked M up to get, because he didn't really have any, food or groceries at the time. It was no tea. So I picked him up. We ended up going out. That night, me and my man got into a big argument. That was the first time I ever let M into my personal business. But it was just, we had gotten into this heated argument. It was a nasty battle. We had got into a nasty battle, and I was pissed off that we had gotten into this battle because this messy bitch was there. And I'm just like, girl, I've never let her see this side of us. So I was like, you know what? I was upset because I was like, you know what? Damn it. Like, we let him in. Like, we really, like, we got into it that day. It was a nasty. We were drunk and we got into this drunk. You know, when you're in a relationship, you just get into this like drunken rage. I don't know what it was, but we were drunk and we showed our ass that day. So M was there. Okay. So boom. So M was there. M was like, okay, a few months went by. It was all good. Everybody kumbaya, me and my man good. Everything kumbaya. We chilling. Bye. Boom. So then me, my best friend Tristan, a couple of others, we all go out of town. We taking pictures, we doing videos, we laughing, we keying. This is Halloween. Everybody's having a cackle. Right? Everybody's having a cackle. Now, for me, my lease was up in March. Okay? My lease was up in March. I have been trying to move to LA. Okay? Now, I went to jail before. I've told everybody this. I've been to jail before. And I had like a felony charge and not a conviction on my record, right? For a fake ID. So possession of a fake ID, girl, and we had went to the car lot. I told this story before, and girl, we roped, girl, we had rope for a vehicle back in the day. So mind you, so girl, I had to go to probation. I went to jail. I did the whole thing. You guys can go check that Storytime out. Went to jail for that. Okay, so boom. So I have been like dealing with like that haunting me for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Trying to like get approved for places and move and do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So I always had to have a lot of money to move into places because that was always haunting me. And M knew this because, we kind of have similar situations, and it was a very stressful thing. So back in July of last year, I flew to Houston. I went to Houston to try to get the stuff removed off my record because it has been so long. So I go to Houston, right? And go to the court, send the information, send the paperwork, do everything that I need to do in Houston to get this stuff removed off my record so I can move freely and get a place, because I was like, oh God, I need to get a place. I want to move to LA, So long story short, this whole nother conversation. They pull up my whole record from my whole criminal record. Girl, I go to Houston. Houston tells me, well, in 2015 in Atlanta, you had got a wet and reckless. I was 1 point over the drinking limit, girl. I was a little tipsy. It was $1 margaritas, girl. And I slightly got a DUI, dropped down to a wet and reckless. So they were like, because you got that, we will not seal your record from Texas. I'm like, well, what does Georgia and Texas have to do with anything? They're like, well, you got in trouble within the last, 5 years. So, or 6 years, whatever it was. So I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, so we're going to permanently leave this on your record. I'm like, girl, I know you're lying. I know you're lying. So I was just distraught. I was crying. I was just miserable. I was depressed. I was over it. I had spent so much money going to Houston trying to figure this stuff out, right? So boom, I call M and I'm like, I'm so depressed and I'm so sad. I just wanted to quit YouTube. It was just like a lot. I was over it because I'm like, how am I going to progress? 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 And I got all this stuff fighting against me, right? So then they're just like, well, it's all good. It's okay. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Things will work out for you. Just, you don't have to worry about it. Woo, 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 woo. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I call my mom. I'm just like, you know what, Mom? I literally no shade. I was like, I'm in this car right now and I just want to run off the road. My mom cursed me out. She's like, you better not run off no damn road. You don't ever talk like that. I was like, okay, let me snap it up and pull it together. Where I went and got me a drink. And I went and got me some boudin, actually. I love boudin. So I went and got me some boudin chow. And it was a big, long boudin, too. And I ate that big boudin. And I sat in there and I sobbed and I sulked and I cried. And I got over it, right? And then, mind you, I had just got over the COVID, too. So I was still having the after effects of that. I was just in a very dark place in July of 2021. So, boom, here we go. M is there for all of this. Now, but mind you, we're still not talking to, G and B and all of that. So boom, here we go. Now, fast forward, we hung out, we all went for Halloween, we did a trip, that was cool. So then I started applying for places. Because I'm like, my lease is up. I got to start applying for places. I got to start saving money because I already know, like, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem. So the first place I applied, it was green lights. Boom, 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 boom. LA, da-da-da, boom, 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 boom. You're good, boom, 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 boom. And I didn't tell nobody because in the past, I would always tell people what I want to do. I would always tell M, and I would tell my best friend, and I would just tell people what I would do. I would tell people when I'm going to apply for a job. I would tell people when I'm going to apply for an apartment. I would tell people when I'm going to apply for things or the next move I'm going to make. And every time I did that, I never got the job. I never got the apartment. I never got approved. I never got whatever it was. But I felt like I would tell myself, well, I'm not going online telling everybody because I know it could be haters online. But I thought, these are my inner circles, so I could tell them. But I would never get the job. I would never get the car. I would never get anything that I told anybody. So what I said, now this time, I'm not even going to tell my close friends, including M. Because it was my close friend, no shade. Didn't tell him. Didn't tell nobody. Phone is just ringing. You got to prove. When do you want to move in? Do you want to move in tomorrow? Do you want to? So far, today is January. I told you my lease up is in March. The green lights went so good that I was even able to get out of my lease early and move in December without even having to buy out of my lease. Because technically, I would still be in a lease. But it got so good, I got approved. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Okay? Follow me. This is amazing. I got approved for the freaking place. Right? So boom. So I call. So I'm on my way to the Mercedes dealer. Okay. Mind you, I told my best friend that I'm moving. My best friend like, okay, great, girl. I'll be in LA. I'll see you. When I can see you, I'll miss you. But, I'm finna be going to school. So really 2022 is paid for me. I don't want to see nobody in 2022. I'm going to be working on my schooling. I'm like, okay. I told my brother like, okay, one of my really close friends. He's like, brother, it's no problem. It's all good. I cannot wait. I'm going to be in LA every weekend. I'm like, okay, great, cool. So I get in the car. I'm on my way to the Mercedes-Benz dealer because I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that my car gets serviced. I had to get a car service. So as I'm on my way to the dealership, I call M because we're talking and we're keying and da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, let's talk. You know, I want to tell you, I have some information. And he's like, well, what do you have? I'm like, girl, you're going to gag. He like, well, what? I'm like, girl, so I'm moving to LA and I got approved for a place. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, did you tell Tristan? And I'm like, yeah. Tristan doesn't care because Tristan is focusing on his school and, Stacy is working. Like, no one cares. Like, everybody is like doing their own thing. And then he was like, well, I kind of feel some type of way because who am I going to go out with? And I'm like, well, girl, like, you can come to LA. But like I said, this person doesn't like to leave their stoop. They don't like to do anything outside of where they're at. So I'm like, you can come to LA. We can come up there. Like, it's not a big deal. They were like, you were saying that you want to move to LA, but I really didn't believe that you were going to move to LA. I really just thought you were going to end up staying here in the Bay. Like, I kind of heard you, but I really didn't believe that you were going to be moving. Like, I didn't believe it. I just thought you were end up going to find something here. I didn't really think that you were actually going to find something. And then literally in my mind, I had flashes and I'm still talking. I'm like, this is why you don't tell nobody, because this is the energy right here. They would have never wanted me to move. They would have never wanted me to move. They would have been praying against it. This is why you don't tell anybody, because you don't know who really does not believe in you. You really don't know who is counting against you, even if they're your friends. So when he said that to me, I'm like, oh, okay. Let me let that sit in the back of my mind. Because you'd already been doing some weird things to me in the past, but I'm just like, okay, let that sink in. But then I'm like, well, everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's doing their thing. And then he starts going into, well, I wish I would have finished school and maybe I should do this and maybe I should do that. And, he starts going into all these things that he wants to do and what he should have done. And mind you, I've tried to tell this man to do. I told you guys in the beginning, I've literally tried to pour into this man and try to tell this man to do everything. I'm at a point where, girl, I've given you a job. I literally was giving you a job to sit at home and I was going to pay you a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And that was overwhelming you. Yet you will rip and run and do everything for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's not even doing nothing. I don't understand that either. I never understand how people can go and run and help people that won't help themselves. But if there's somebody that's clearly helping themselves and clearly doing what they need to do, you don't want to work for them. But you go rather work for your cousin or Shaniqua around the corner that don't even know how to make 1 + 1 = 2. Whatever. So he starts about to go on this rant about how he wants to start working on this and start working on that and start doing this and start working on that. And girl, at this time, I'm just pulling up to the dealership. So now at this point, they're ready for my car. Okay. So they're ready for the car. So I'm like, well, girl, let me call you right back. Cause I gotta get in this car. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I gotta get in the car. I'm like, answer your phone. Okay, and hangs up. Less than 3 minutes later, because it was literally like, I just need to make sure that they got my keys. I signed the little paper. You know what I mean? They're intaking my car. This is what they're doing. I'm getting my car serviced. Let me call you back. So boom, 3 minutes later, 3 to 5 minutes later, I called him back. No answer. No answer. Now, have not talked to him since that day. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, I'm trying to figure out what is the matter with you. What is your tea? Like, what is going on? I let it go. I found the apartment. I got the apartment. I sent them a picture of the apartment. I sent it to all my friends because at this point, we're here. It's happening. Sent him the picture of the apartment. You opened it and read it immediately and never responded. Then and it was just weird to me because I noticed before that, I sent you my song. Now, it was one thing if you didn't like the song. You don't have to like my music as my friend. No one has to like my music. I don't really care. Music is subjective. It may not be your style. But you didn't even fully listen to the song. That was number one. Then number two, you following me on Instagram. You see I'm promoting my song. You see all these people are promoting my song, right? I'm sharing it. Then you want to send me Kid Ken and Saucy Santana record. Huh? Does it look like I'm talking about Kid Ken and Saucy Santana record right now? As my friend. As my friend. Now, if you're a subscriber, whatever. But as my friend, if I'm promoting my song, why would you think I'm here to talk about Kid Ken and Saucy Santana record? And you haven't even gave me any feedback on my song, whether you liked it or you didn't like it or whatever. You just have no energy. You have nothing to say. We could even be on the phone and we could be talking about, I'll be like talking about my song or something. Then you're like, oh yes, I'll say something. And then all of a sudden you start talking about some boy downtown or some stupid shit. Like you won't even acknowledge what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking to myself, why do we keep changing the conversation to pointless, stupid stuff when I'm asking you or I'm talking to you about moves that I'm trying to make, business moves that I'm trying to make, bring you in on, or just things that create growth, positivity. Like I don't want to sit up here and gossip about boys. You know what I mean? So I started to notice that. And so fast forward, I sent him the picture of the apartment. Now it's one thing you don't like my music, but I know but you can't deny that this is a view. And you also can't deny that you knew the struggle that it was taking me to get to this place that I'm in, to where I could even say, hey, I'm able to move to LA. Because you understood that it took me so long to be able to get to a point where I can get approved. And you said nothing. So to me, that was weird for me. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Then right after that, a couple of days later, I don't hear from you. Then you tagging me something in Erica Banks on Facebook. Girl, hello? Didn't you think I give a damn about Erica Banks? I just signed a lease and I'm moving to LA. Like, this is something that I've always talked about. And you think I'm here? You think I give a damn about Erica Banks right now? I don't care about Erica Banks as my friend. So that was weird. Okay? So fast forward. Have not heard from him. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to, make this a big deal. I'm not going to fester. I don't know what your deal is, baby. Whatever it is about me, you can't take. I'm not sure. But I started putting pieces together because this person also used to do stuff like try to pit me and my man against each other. Like, it's no shade. Like, one day it was my birthday, and it's nothing against my man, and I always tell the story, but it was my birthday, and I will never forget this. It was my birthday. And my best friend is the makeup artist, and he do my makeup or whatever. And baby, I was over there sitting, baby. Baby, I was mugged, okay? My man don't even wear makeup. Like it wasn't even his birthday. My friend gonna go, and you gonna comment on my man's like, oh, you are beat, you are face, you are this, you are that. And I'm just like, you always do like little weird, like I can buy some fresh sneakers. My man can have on some whatever. Then you'll be like, he'll just run at my man. Oh, those is the flyest sneakers I ever seen. But you act like you don't see that. I just pulled these fresh ass sneakers out of the box. Ain't never worn them. Like you always do weird stuff like that. And I'm like, what you trying to make me and my man go like head to head and beef? Or like you never want to give me my flowers. Like you always on some like hating ass. Like that's some weird, like you always want some like, oh, I'm gonna compliment this person, but I'm not gonna compliment you. I'm gonna act like I don't see you, but I'm gonna see everybody around you. And it's like, baby, stop playing with me, right? So I used to notice little things like that. So as the energy is changing, because I never thought this person to be a hater, but then I'm starting to feel like, okay, maybe you are a bit of a hater. And it wasn't until recently I started to really catch it. And I'm bringing this all together here. Okay. So then boom. So the end of November, December, one of my good friends that we all was just with in Tahoe for Halloween was murdered. Okay. Now, they didn't know each other personally, but girl, we was all together for 5 days. Okay. So one of my friends, was killed. That was just with us 2-3 weeks ago, at the time. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to text him and let him know that such and such just died. And then he goes and says, who? I said, such and such died. And he was like, who? And I'm like, such and such. The trans. My girl Mikey. I'm like, Mikey died. The trans. No. Yeah, that's what I said. And then let me look at my phone. Let me look at my phone because I gotta get it right. I gotta get it right. Because I'm about to bring y'all all the way back. Oh, I said such and such is dead. I said Mikey is dead. That was at 4:21 p.m. on December 3rd. They didn't text me back until December at 7:40 and said, who? Which Mikey? And I text back in the same minute and said, Mikey from Tahoe, the trans. They responded back, oh, ... That's when I was done. Oh, you was just sitting with us? Okay, now, I'm done with it, right? I'm moving. I'm getting my things together. I'm in LA, New Year's, 2022. I'm moving. I'm tired. I don't do anything for New Year's. I'm just like, whatever. I'm just moving. I'm moving. So, Sunday, me and my man, we go to the Abbey. We're the only black boys in the Abbey at this time. It was early. We was gonna go to Best Buy, look at a TV. We was just chilling because we didn't really do nothing for New Year's. And literally, we had drove by the Abbey and was like, okay, I'm about to leave. We went down Sunset. We was just doing some things, right? So boom, we circled back to the Abbey because we had left and came back. So then we go back to the Abbey. We go eat. We watch the drag. We like drag, so we sitting there. We watching the drag or whatever. And mind you, we hadn't heard from G and we hadn't heard from B because we all fell out. We were blocked from G. Me and B wasn't really cool. B, it was just very weird energy, very estranged. My man says, let's go. The minute I say, let's go, I look over and in walks B and G. Now, I have not seen B and G. We have not seen B. First of all, I haven't seen B in over 2 years. I haven't seen G in over 6 to 8 months since, I kind of pulled up on him. So I'm like, oh, this is going to get awkward. And my man hasn't talked to, and they're his friends, but he hasn't talked to them. So I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is happening right now. So they walk up, we walk up, and we like, well, girl, let's just get a table. So we got a table together. It was a little awkward at first. We having a conversation. And then I crank. So I look over at B and I say, have you heard from M? Meaning Messy, because I know that B still talks to M. He was like, yeah, girl. And it's a lot of tea. And I'm like, what? So then B starts running it down. So this is where I'm at the point where I'm like, don't make me slap you, ho. Because B comes and tells me, yeah, girl, I heard that Mikey died. I'm like, did you hear that? She's like, yeah, because, M had been telling me that you do not like me. I'm like, why you think I don't like you? I don't have a problem with you. She's like, well, girl, I don't know. She's been saying that you don't like me, and you don't like us, and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, she's like, and I have receipts. She's like, and every time that you guys are there, every time that you're going out, and whenever you guys are around, M is texting me the play-by-play of what's going on with you guys. And he was like, yeah, and I heard that Mikey died. But M had me thinking it was a different Mikey. I'm like, what? And I said, and then I was being messy because I was like, I was showing B how M wasn't responding to me because I was like, I haven't really talked to him, M, right? I haven't talked to M. These are the last text messages that M sent me, and I sent M. B said, open your phone again. I said, okay. He said, what time did you text M on December 3rd and tell him that Mikey died? I said, 4:21. He said, well, what time did she text you back? I said, she didn't text me back till 7:40 p.m. He said, let's compare notes. B opened up his phone. On Friday, December 3rd, I text M at 4:21 and said Mikey is dead. M then went and texted B at 4:27 and said, oh, girl, I got some tea. Mikey is dead. Like messy. And then B was now B and M was having a conversation like, which one? And she was like, well, I don't know. I don't have all the details and whoop, 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 whoop. And M is texting B like, yeah, and I don't feel like texting our mom back with his BS and his bullshit and Armon, da 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 da. Then she texted me back at 7:40 saying, who, which one? And I said, Mikey the trans. So now she only ended up texting me back. M only ended up texting me back because he was being messy with B, trying to figure out which Mikey it was. And so once he got the information that it wasn't the Mike that he was saying, that he tried to tell B that it was, he was like, oh. So you were being messy the entire time. So as soon as I sent you the text, you didn't even respond, but you went and been messy and started pouring it out to people out in the Bay. This is why people be ready to beat you up. Girl, I'm getting into it now. So then I'm like, she telling you all that? She's like, yeah, and bitch, in the Facebook messages that we have talking about you are even worse. I'm like, what? And she was like, and yeah, and I heard your best friend Tristan don't even like me. I said, my best friend Tristan don't even know you. My best friend Tristan never met you. Well, apparently he don't like me because M told me that you guys sit around and discuss me and you don't like my boyfriend. Now, B's boyfriend is a creator. Is like a popular, is a creator. I'm just like, girl. So she got you guys, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think that you liked me. She had me thinking that you didn't like me. So girl, I was reading you, and I'm sure you was reading me, and we was reading each other. So I don't want you to think I was not reading you, because baby, I was reading you. And if you was reading me, I'm sure you was reading me, because rightfully so. Then B pulls my man aside and says, yeah, girl, is everything okay with you? You know, basically like, is everything okay with you and your man? Like, is everything okay with him and me? Because he heard from M that we got into a big brawl blowout fight, and all we do is fight, and we're just fighting. My man like, what? He like, yeah, girl, like M told me that, girl, all you guys was doing is just fighting, and it was just this big brawl. You girls are just fighting, and fighting. First of all, she was there for one argument. Second of all, she tried that. So now I'm done. Because in my mind, I'm in the Bay. You're with me at my house. I'm feeding your broke ass, your bum ass. You older than me. I'm trying to teach you how to drive. You scared to do that. You've been getting beat up everywhere. And you sitting around texting bitches in LA about me and what's going on at my house? It really wouldn't be a problem. It would be a problem, but it's even more of a problem because you and B at that time, M and B at that time, ended up, you already had B thinking I didn't like him. So you wasn't just giving the tea like, oh girl, this is what happened. No, you were giving B more ammo to read me because B was already reading me because you had already been telling him that I don't like him. So you had already cultivated a space and an energy where you guys would sit up and talk shit about me. And then you're talking about what I got going on in my house? You broke ass bitch. Wow. Don't make me slap you, hoe. Oh. Child, that is just a lot of tea. So I found out that the whole time, anytime we go anywhere, Miss Thing is texting, giving everybody the play-by-play, telling B, don't come visit, child. Don't come up here because Armon and Tristan and all of them, girl, they are reading you at this table. They are dragging you at this table right now. We are at brunch right now, and they're just talking so bad about you. It's not a good time for you to come up here. Really? Moral of the story is this: you can't really trust nobody. But if a person would talk shit about their own mama, their own family, they definitely gonna talk about you. If a person has a history of being messy, I really could go further, but I'm trying not to. If a person don't even want to drive a car, they definitely gonna talk about you. Okay? If a person would go on a date with a nigga they never seen before, and I mean on the date with a nigga that they can't see, they definitely gonna talk about you. Yeah, I know it's a mind. You trying to think, how can I go on a date with somebody I ain't see? I don't know, you tell me. But I'm flabbergasted. I was floored to come to LA and to find out that one of my girlfriends was sitting around discussing me. There was this thing that was back in the day called Ask Herbie, and I think like people were trying to like expose like me and say things about me. And me and her weren't talking around the era of Ask Herbie. And there was some information like a city that I lived in that was out. And I'm like, girl, was that her? I asked her. She said she never did it. At this point, I don't trust, because she online. She'd be watching. And it's just one of those things that's like, girl, why would you sit up here and be that messy? I'm really disappointed because I don't know if there's any coming back from that. I don't know how you come back from that. Could you imagine moving to a new city, running into somebody on a Sunday, and then they start telling you all your business? In LA, out of all places. Girl. I would have beat Miss Thing up if I would have seen her. But yeah. You can never trust a person like that. You don't ever trust a person that instead of paying their bills, they'll go buy designer frames. Instead of upgrading their life, they'll go and spend their last on sneakers. Me and you are not the same. I could continue to go more. I could continue to go farther, but I'll keep it just in case she want to get spicy online. In case she want to feel away, girl, we can go back and forth. No, but seriously, moral of the story is everybody is not your friend, even when they are sitting right next to you. And you learn that so many times when you see these rappers and these people being set up, and you know, you see people's tea getting leaked to the blogs and stuff. It's always somebody sitting around doing this. Never trust a person that all they doing is doing this when y'all kick in. They not on Instagram. If they always in their phone, they're messy. Oh yeah, so long story short, I guess let me end it. So G and B, because well, while B was giving me all that tea, I also had to let B and G know that well, B, while you give me all this tea, well, she told me that you have all her clothes in LA. And that you won't give them back. And G, well, I have to share some information with G that I'm going to keep private, but it was a stern tea because she had revealed some things to me about G and someone he was dating. And so we had a tea party where we all realized that from the beginning, she was dragging us all to each other. That's a mess. That is a mess, child. That's a mess. That's a mess. And to think that one of my brothers really wanted to slap this hoe. And I said, you know what? Don't slap her. Don't beat her up. They're like, no, I want to slap her. I want to slap her. I'm like, don't slap her. I should have let him slap you. But anyway, guys, I needed to get that off and fully release that in 2022. Because that happened. And I was floored because it was like I really tried to really help you. and be a friend to someone and really even help them in a time where they weren't even willing to help themselves, and you were sitting here discussing my business and then dragging me to a bitch in LA that you thought didn't like me. That's the part. You thought they didn't like me, and you didn't think that we would ever communicate. Hold on. Well, that was my story time for today. Welcome to 2022. We got a lot more to get into. Offset story time coming soon. Offset story time coming soon. Probably come tomorrow or Sunday. So look out for the Offset story time for the Offset birthday party. And yeah, child, we got more content on the way. I love you all for watching. If you guys like more story times, hashtag story time or dropping one in the chat. And girl, I will give you guys more story times of things that as they come up. I love you guys all for listening and watching. And until next time, make sure you guys' notifications are on. You guys are subscribed. And I'll see you in the next video. All right. I love you all. See you soon. Peace out.
Ooh, guess it's time I go my way.